Our lives are full of beauty. Beauty is like a deep, broad river that runs through our lives, indeed through all of creation. And the human tendency is to cut it down, to make beauty something which, is a personal opinion. I think this is beautiful, and that is not. Hi, I'm Warren, the rector here at St. Columba's. Glad you could join me for my message of the day. When I was a young man, I tried to give up faith in God, and one of the things I missed was a broader, deeper account of beauty. I found exactly that tendency which I had mentioned before, to make beauty narrower, that which I thought was beautiful. That is a human tendency, to think that beauty is something we can stick on it's restricted to what can go on the cover of a glossy magazine. And too much that is beautiful can be left out of an account of beauty. A Christian account of beauty is very broad and deep, broad enough and deep enough to cover and to include a cross, the cross of Jesus, the cross of God's love, to say that the cross is something beautiful. I suppose it's the opposite of beauty is ugly, and it's a term we should use sparingly. I jokingly say that the screen in St. Columba's that we use to project onto the service on a Sunday, it's a big screen, is as ugly as sin. That's why it's good for worship to be beautiful. If we think of worship as an act of love, where we encounter God's love for us, and then we can respond in self-offering, it's a beautiful thing. That corporate act of worship can gather up all our different gifts and skills and where we are at that moment, and our willingness to give ourselves this much or not that much, whatever it is, and roll it up together to be a beautiful thing of self-offering. And we can be carried in our own response or lack of it by that corporate act of worship into such a beautiful act. And through worship, we can come closer to the one we worship, growing in holiness, and in turn bringing the beauty of that holiness to bear in our worship. Modern liturgy has much beauty about it as well, in comparison to, say, traditional liturgy. On last Sunday night, we had at St. Columba's a beautiful evensong, choristers, the whole lot. It was great. It was very beautiful. Modern liturgy is beautiful, yet its tendency is to flatten in the attempt to try and be more relevant and understandable, digestible, I suppose. Modern liturgy has lost something of beauty. It's thinner, flatter. Traditional liturgy and traditional worship retains some of what is lost, some of that beauty that modern liturgy, modern services, modern worship has a tendency to lose. There is a self-offering which we can grasp, we can be part of in a traditional liturgy, because we encounter a God who is transcendent, beyond us. That's one of the things about traditional liturgy, is that it's less digestible, and that matches the transcendence, the experience of transcending ourselves in worship. Rather than thinking we are actually digesting this and I really do get this, I really understand it, it's actually taking me beyond myself. That's what I find in traditional liturgy. That's one of its gifts. That's part of its beauty. It's an invitation to transcend myself, to be sought out and seek, and to be united with the God who is beyond me. The other thing I find that about traditional worship and traditional liturgy and its beauty is that it reminds me of the depth and the width of beauty in my life, and that some of that which we don't often think of as beautiful is actually included in the beautiful. That is, it's beautiful, it's part of that great running stream of beauty through our lives. So it reminds me, and it primes me to go out into the world to see beauty, more than the cover of a glossy magazine or whatever I think might be beautiful, and to actually to encounter beauty and to be converted by it. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.